Welcome to Grieving Insomniacs. This is Christy Haberman. I'm trying a new way of recording. Even though I went to a part-time schedule at work, I'm having a hard time staying up on my podcasting schedule. Which is, I haven't posted anything since December. And it's not like anything particularly has happened that's keeping me from posting. I just felt like I had this new job and maybe I shouldn't be so open out there with my grief. And I didn't do so well with that. I became more depressed. I was kind of hiding on my Facebook. I was hiding on my other social media. And by hiding, I mean I wasn't posting about how much I missed my son. And I didn't talk about what it was like, and I didn't I didn't speak the way I wanted to and say the things I wanted to say. And then I learned a lesson. And it's a hard lesson. It's not a friend per se, but a girl I went to high school with. Sorry, I'm going to try to fix this so you don't bounce so much. But that may not be able to do that. Alright, so I went to high school with this girl. I didn't know her in high school. We weren't friends. We weren't anything. I don't even know if we had classes together. I knew her name. I knew I went to high school with her, and that was about it. A few years ago, I want to say 2017, but it might have been sooner than that. Her son died. Just like my son. He was in college. He was an athlete. And I really don't know the full story. Except for he died of suicide. One of the things that I noticed about her the most is she didn't seem sad. Not like me. I feel like I'm sad all the time. I feel like my whole life has changed. And I've become this other person that just can't shake the sadness. Do I have moments of joy? Yes. Do I enjoy my living son and my grandchildren? Yes. But it still feels like something's missing out of my life. And there is. That's Chris. Well, I watched, we were Facebook friends from back in the time where you tried to get all your high school classmates on your Facebook and you guys all be friends even though you didn't talk to them when you were in high school. Well, that was short-lived for me, but she was on the list and I've just kept her on the list. And then I follow her on different social media platforms, mainly because I was admiring her. I was admiring the fact that she seemed to have it together. She seemed to be, and I hate to use the words right, but it seemed like she was doing grief right. That she was posting memes and, was using that kind of stuff to communicate. And I was like, wow. What am I doing wrong that she was, i.e., able to do it better than me? And so I just watched her and I was like, man, I want to be her. She looks like she's doing really well. I mean, occasionally you would see some stuff, but not a lot. And I was like, it's possible that I will not, that if I had a more stable home life, or I didn't have all of this early trauma, that I would be able to grieve just a little bit better. Well, last week, she committed suicide. And I felt so bad. 3 days after her 60th birthday. And there's several reasons why I feel bad. One, I wanted to reach out to her and ask her to come on my podcast and ask her, how are you doing this? How are you doing? You doing well? How are you doing? But I didn't have a relationship with her before her son died. And that's regret number one. But is it like, sometimes reaching out to people's intrusive. It's not always wanted or requested or anything like that. So then you're left wondering, what could I have done more? But I almost act like my grief is contagious. Like I can bring somebody down. But the reality is, and here's the honest reality, I decided a couple of months ago that it's just not working for me to not talk about my grief. I miss Chris. I miss him quite a bit. And I'm a verbal processor, meaning I talk a lot. But what I noticed was, I make stories on Facebook. And when it's a story that's not about my grief, I have like 15 people look at it. When I post about my grief, I'm down to 3 or 4. And I'm pretty sure there's only 3 or 4 people that look at my Facebook because that are supposed friends, because I'm grieving out loud. So after she died, as a fair warning to anybody I was friends with on any type of social media, I changed my username to Grieving Out Loud. And I refuse to be silenced anymore. And it's not any one person saying, hey, you can't talk about that. It's not that. It's not any one person saying, you know, you're too much, or you're too this, or you're too that. It was the societal pressure I felt put on myself. Because I was imagining what other people were thinking, what other people were doing, and how they felt listening to my podcast, or to the stuff that I was putting on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And so I don't want to put blame out there to anybody, but I do want to talk about the very real pressure that we as grieving people feel to be silent, to not express it. That's enough now. You're making me uncomfortable. Quit talking about it. When's she gonna stop talking about it? That's what I thought people were saying. And I guarantee there were some that were. It doesn't help that I'm empathic, and even on text and other things, I can feel how people feel. It's just my reality. I'm coming to accept that that's just part of who I am. And And so I asked myself the questions about this high school friend. I won't say her name because these days it's too easy to find people. But what I think about her is, would she have been better if she had grieved out loud? If she had been able to talk to people and say, hey, I'm feeling this way, or I'm feeling guilty because I committed suicide. It is so hard on the people left behind when someone commits suicide. Because in normal grief, I hate to say normal grief, but non-traumatic, well, it's all traumatic. How do I want to say this? I guess when they die of not by their own hand, you still feel guilty. You think, I should have gotten to the doctor sooner, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have gotten the car checked. All of those things exist. And we feel guilty about them. And I have maintained since the beginning that the reason why we feel guilty is because we want to be in control of our grief. Like, we want to be able to stop someone from dying. That's our dearest wish, is to stop someone from dying. Well, we can't really do that. And that's what makes grief so hard, because then you have to say to yourself, I was powerless in their decision, or whoever's decision it was to take him at that moment in time, including themselves. So you have to live with that. And then comes the questions about, why wasn't I good enough? Why wasn't I good enough for them to stay? And those kind of questions will haunt you forever. And then you kind of have to make peace with them. Now, I don't necessarily know that counseling is the way to go. I really don't. Now, I know that I am a good therapist to my clients that are grieving, because I get it. I so get it. I don't come out and say, hey, I understand your grief. But there's a way I present myself, the way I respond, the gentleness that I have in working with them, that they know. They know that I know how they feel. And that's just the sad part of it. I can't train you to be empathetic to grieving people. There's one way to get this experience, and that experience is through going through it. Now, years ago, I'd have told you that, nah, I can be empathetic. And maybe I can, as a human being, as Kirsty can, but not all. And I'm currently with a therapist now that I'm working with that doesn't get it. I'm on my way to my therapy appointment, in fact, to talk about this. And she's not going to get it. Why are we revisiting old material? Why does this trigger things for you? Because I was there. There were so many times that I thought there was an easier way. There's an easier way to get through this pain. There's an easier way. There's just an easier way. And my son was dead, so if I died, I could see my son. But it's not the choice for me. And it wasn't at the time. And I don't know where I found the strength. So no shade against this person at all. But in my mind, I'm like, we have got to have awareness surrounding this fact that sometimes we lose people to grief. And I have no idea what else was going on in her life. I don't need to know anything else that was going on in her life. All I need to know is that she died. And in my heart, I want to believe that the moment she died, she was reunited with him. But we don't know for sure. And then that's where faith comes in. Whatever you believe in, you have to have faith. Faith that it's going to work out. Faith that it's going to be the way that it's going to be. And we got to start being honest about these struggles, about the way how life is never going to be the same. And I almost want to say you're disabled to a certain point. My life is unrecognizable from the one that it was before. Am I still a therapist? You betcha I am. That will be in my blood no matter what I do in my life. Could it be hard for me to be a cashier or someone like that? Because I'm always curious. And that's what makes me a good therapist, because I'm curious. And I had someone tell me the other day, no one else has really asked me about this. And my response to them was, how am I supposed to get to know you if I don't know you? Try to get to know you. How you think, how you operate, what are your beliefs about the world. Those things are important. So I'm still sad that she lost her battle with grief. Do I feel guilty because I didn't reach out to her? No, I don't. Because she had a choice to reach out to me too. And I think that's one of the things that we have got to be the most aware about, is that people have free choice. I can't tell you how many times over the last 20 years that someone has called to make an appointment for their adult son, adult child, adult daughters, and they say, well, they really need to see someone. And I'm like, I'm really sorry about that, but they're adults. If they don't want to see someone, they can't see them. They don't have to see someone. Like, autonomy. Everyone has autonomy. I was thinking that about, I was reading on Threads today about therapists. About if somebody doesn't show for their appointment, how their therapist is calling them 3 times in an hour. You know, if my boyfriend calls me 3 times in an hour, we call it stalking. So I just don't understand that either. That was a tangent I didn't see coming. I'll cut that out. Anyway, back to Pam and grief. Oops. I'm going to cut that out too because I don't want to put her name. So the girl in high school, She had free will, she had autonomy, and she made her choice. Does it suck for the people left behind? Yes, it does. But there's another piece of that annoys me to no end. And again, I'm not dissing people. This is an observation about our human condition. All these people that went to high school with her posting about how much they missed her and how much they loved her and all of these things. But my question to myself was, did you really? Were you there when she was grieving? Did she know that she could call you and talk to you? So that she wouldn't be alone? Like, did she know that? And one of her really good friends posted that she had pulled away because she thought that her friend was pulling away from her, and she was giving her that space, and she's regretting it now. That doesn't mean that was a bad thing to do, but then, because then you go back to the free will argument again. And how many times, and I've done this to people, I know I have, how many times do you call someone before you realize they want to be left alone? I know I did that to people in my grief. I know I did. They wanted to reach out and they wanted to talk to me, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I just didn't have the emotional capacity. Now I understand it's because of who I am and the fact that I would turn things around and I would be a comfort for them. And when I couldn't do that, I just opted out. And that's a feeling on my part. It's not a feeling on their part. And I feel so bad for those people because I'm sure they felt rejected. I just didn't have it in me to be there and do that. It's sad. So if this works out, and yes, I'm driving, this form of recording my podcasts, then I will try to do some more. I thought I didn't have any more to say, but after what happened with her, I'm wondering if A, there's more I need to say, or if B, there's more people that need to grieve out loud like me. So I'm toying with changing my podcast to Grieving Out Loud, so people know what to expect. But I'm also thinking about restructuring some things, and I want to start traveling. Christopher wanted to travel. He was a nurse that just graduated, and he wanted to be a traveling nurse.